Jesse is having the worst day of his life. Unfortunately, it's also the worst day in the history of mankind. Sanginians have invaded Earth, using their tremendous mental powers to turn all of humanity into slaves in a matter of seconds. Luckily for Jesse, he has some telepathic abilities of his own, making him superior product, worthy to serve in the home of Lord Vertonimus, the new leader of this new colony. Too bad for Lord Vert that Jesse isn't the type of product to sit back and take things quietly. In fact, it seems there may be other product who feel the same, like Lauren, the overachieving do-gooder, Michael, the star athlete, and Lindsay, the fashion model. But it isn't until Jesse starts communicating in his dreams with the mysterious girl, who he's pretty sure is real, that he starts to think that the aliens might not be invincible after all. Hi guys, this is Jessica, and I have another book review for you today, and it is over Alien Invasion and Other Inconveniences by Brian Yansky. This book was released October 12th of 2010 by Candlewick, and the normal book, this is an ARC, it has 240 pages. Now, like Wicked Lovely, I did read this a while ago, so that's why I'm not too sharp on the details on it, but yeah, hopefully I can still put out a decent review without reading straight from my blog. I did have to review what I thought about it though, but even though I kind of remembered, but I just wanted to check and make sure. Now, I know you guys are probably a little put off by this book's bad rating, but you shouldn't be, because it's not that this was a bad book, it's just that it wasn't really for me. So, like, you should definitely still look into it and see if it's a book that you might be interested in. But it starts off really good, it starts off really interesting, and I really, really want to know what happens. And then as the book kind of progresses, it gets a little repetitive, it gets a little boring, and I kind of just want to go to the end of the book and see what happens because I'm so curious. And I don't, obviously, because when you do that, the book fairy attacks you. And I don't want to get attacked by the book fairy because that's, like, you don't know what's going to happen. She could steal all your books, she could injure your face, she could do anything to you, and you would never even see it coming. So I just didn't want to get attacked by the book fairy, so I didn't read ahead in this book. And I found it a little tough to get through just because I wanted to know what happened at the end so bad. And another thing that made it a little tough to get through is I didn't really get to know the characters on a personal basis, and characters kind of do the book for me. Like, if I don't like the characters, then I don't like the book. And I didn't get to know the characters. I like feeling like I'm the main character, my best friends are the main character's best friends, and the main character's enemies are my enemies. And I didn't get that with this book. I could tell that I was reading about someone else, and I didn't really like that. But there's still something so good about this book that made me not give it a terrible, terrible rating. It's not great, but it's not an F either. But there's something about the way that Brian Yansky writes. I think it's the way that I think it's the way that he tells thoughts and, like, gives a thought process that I really, really enjoyed. So that's good. I think if Brian Yansky wrote something else, I would definitely check it out too, just because I did like the way, some of his writing style, although some of it was a little not for me, just because of the characters, and just it set up something really, really crazy in the beginning, and then it kind of slacked off a little in the middle, and then in the end kind of left me a little disappointed just because I didn't feel like all of my questions were answered. And that could have just been me but I don't know, I just felt like there should have been more to the end, like maybe like 2 or 3 more chapters just to sum everything up for me. And maybe there's going to be a sequel, and if there is, I will definitely check it out just to figure out what's going to happen. Another thing about this book is it was really, really funny. The way he writes is pretty comical, and I liked that because you would think that an alien book, or a book about aliens taking over the world, would be kind of serious, but even the main alien's name is Lord Vertonimus, so it's kind of kooky. So that's good. It's a pretty funny book. It's a pretty funny read. Another thing I really, really liked about this book is the underlying message. And I don't know if this is a purposeful underlying message or not, but I loved it because I love books that have these messages where we are slowly but surely destroying our planet, and we aren't taking care of it, And pretty soon, the lush green world that we know and love will be dark and gray. And humans won't be capable of doing anything for themselves. They're going to be relying on machines to do everything for them. And that's really sad to me, both that we're ruining our earth and that people are relying more on computers than they are on themselves. And I love books that kind of point that out, and this one does. So yay, Brian Yansky. But like I said, definitely, I know this has a terrible rating, and again, it was just not for me. It could still be for you, so definitely go online, read the synopsis, read the first chapter in the bookstore, and see what you think of it, because just because I gave it a bad rating doesn't mean it's not worth checking out. So, I am Jessica with Chapter Chicks. This was my book review over Alien Invasion and Other Inconveniences by Brian Yansky, and this chapter was for you. Thanks, guys.